When was the last time you told yourself there was no way this was possible? If you stay to the end of the video in just 10 minutes, you will exclaim at least 10 times like that, because I have put together some really amazing stuff for you. Welcome to FactFrenzy. Today, thematically, I've gathered the top 10 things after which you will say, no way. However, there is a very easy way to keep yourself constantly fed with such interesting information, and that is by subscribing to the channel entirely for free. Hit the bell too to be notified of a minimum of 2 new videos every week. Number 1. The Stone al-Nasla. To begin, we are transported to Saudi Arabia, where perhaps the most mysterious megalith in history is hidden. Looking at it, you are surely asking yourself how it could be so perfectly split in two. But in fact, there are many more questions. The stone was discovered in 1883, and since then there has been serious controversy about it. Firstly, the cut itself is so flat and smooth. On top of that, it is made across the layers, which is extremely difficult, and rules out it having appeared as a result of a natural event. Secondly, the two halves are almost identical and balance on super fragile foundations. The fault between the two parts itself is exactly 10 centimeters, with one theory saying it was cut with a blade of similar thickness, or some type of laser, while the other theory is that it was split and over time simply pulled apart. Having mentioned laser, this is a very real theory, and many people believe that the ancients did have similar technology. It also remains a complete mystery how the stone maintained its balance over centuries, if not millennia. Number 2. The Two Moons of Dubai. On the 9th of February this year, the residents of Dubai witnessed a very creepy and mysterious sight. 2 moons appeared over the megalopolis, which caused panic in the population, and understandably so, because such a thing is not seen every day. I must admit, if I had witnessed such a thing, I would have immediately thought it was some kind of UFO, and I would have surely posted a live stream on all social networks. But it turns out that this phenomenon has a much more trivial explanation. The 2 moons turn out to be just a giant projection, meant to celebrate the Arab Emirates' historic mission to Mars. On that day, their probe called Hope entered the orbit of the red planet, and people just wanted to celebrate it in Dubai fashion. Actually, the 2 moons symbolize Phobos and Deimos, which are the 2 natural satellites of Mars. Let me know down in the comments if you have witnessed any stranger UFO-type activity or anything else. Number 3. Golf on the Moon. Speaking of moons of Mars, did you know that in 1971, a NASA astronaut just got off the module and played golf on our moon, making a club out of a lunar soil collection tool? His name was Alan Shepard, and besides being an astronaut, he was also an avid golf fan, who just couldn't resist the temptation to take a long shot on the moon. In fact, physics says that with 0 atmospheric drag and gravity as much as 1/6 that of the Earth, he could have sent the ball several kilometers as it would fly for more than a minute. On his first shot, the space golfer got a little sloppy as he shot the ball into a crater but made up for it with the second. Then, despite his spacesuit, he sent it 183 meters. Rumor has it that Alan secretly carried the ball in his sock, which is quite against the rules of NASA, but apparently he got away with it. Number 4. Training for escaped animals. You know, the Japanese are super precise people and have repeatedly tested procedures for everything. But now get ready, because you just can't guess what other situations they test and try. On your screens, you see people dressed in various animal costumes getting into some sort of nets. Actually, folks, this is a mandatory procedure in their zoos, where the staff are tested on how they will react and catch an animal if it escapes. Actors dress up as zebras and lions, bears, and whatnot, as each one of them gets deeply into acting as the animal itself and recreates its aggressiveness. They get into character as much as possible and try to escape in every way possible. The officers on their side have to catch them without hurting them and bring them back to the cages. Number 5. The unshaven sheep. On your screens right now is the most famous sheep on the entire internet. Her name is Barak. She got lost from her herd and wandered for 3-4 years. All the while, her wool grew and grew out of control. When they found her, the poor animal could barely walk due to the weight of her fur, and could see almost nothing due to her huge bangs. Barak is a special kind of sheep that must be sheared at least once every year, or this is exactly what happens. Despite looking super dirty, 60 sweaters in mind, 500 pairs of socks were made from her wool. Actually, when they sheared her, the animal got 35 kilograms lighter and naturally became mobile again. It is still unknown how the sheep survived the last hot Australian summer at all. Here we go again at the middle, and if you like the video so far, leave a like in support. Let's keep going though. Number 6. A stop in nature. When I've traveled abroad by train, I've often wanted to stop and admire the view. With this type of transport, however, that's impossible. But the Japanese don't think so. They have built a special stop in the middle of a fabulous nature park, which, however, has no entrance, no exit, no ramps, or even a settlement next to it. The purpose of this stop is simply to get off the train and admire the unique views that are. Of course, the train won't be waiting for you to take pictures and selfies in nature. Well, it will leave, but don't worry, the next one is coming in just 30 minutes. The Nishiki River stop was open in 2019, and with it, the government reminds us to get away from the busy everyday life and pay a little attention to the nature around us. Number 7. Observation of a volcano. I don't know about you, but I look with great awe at any apocalyptic events. Even a fog late at night awakens all sorts of thoughts and pictures in my mind. Anyway, I got a little carried away. What I mean is that in countries with strong volcanic activity, there are special tours from companies that can get you as close as possible to an erupting volcano. I just added another item to my list of things I want to do before I die. I mean, just look at the rivers of lava flowing with unceasing force down the hillside. At the moment, such tours can only be done in Iceland and Hawaii. Actually, come to think of it, maybe it's better not to have many of these tours in other places in the world. Number 8. Bears and skiers. Skiing and snowboarding are some of the coolest sports, and you just can't diss me on that opinion here. Basically, we all know the risks when we hit the snow tracks. Except maybe, for one, look at what happened last year on the Romanian slopes. A brown bear persistently chased a skier down the mountain. He kept a serious cool, though. Imagine, though, that he slips and falls. The huge animal will catch up to him with ease and crush him. In principle, we know that bears hibernate then, but apparently, there are also awake bears that are usually starving. Maybe that's why she dared to go after the skier. First, he remembers to take off his pack and go on without it. Experts say that may have saved him. Number 9. Video phone from the past. If you think FaceTime or video calling, in general, is something super new and trendy, you are sorely mistaken. People have been trying to introduce them since the 1960s. Then the American company AT&T presented its prototype, which attracted all curious eyes. These devices, so to speak, were not for personal use, because they were connected with special cables between them. To use them, however, you had to go to one of the 3 video call stations in America. There were these in New York, Washington, and Chicago. Just one 3-minute call cost about $200 current dollars, which is a lot, but for the time it was unheard of. The name of the prototype was Picture Phone, and a home version of it came out in 1970, but was not very successful. Number 10. Orange picking. Valencia has made Spain the largest producer of oranges in the European Union. These were the headlines a few years ago. This fact is supported by the numerous orange trees that decorate the streets and major boulevards in the city. The municipality of Valencia has even been faced with a problem because of the many fruits that simply nobody is picking. The oranges fell on the street and rotted, so they created a special machine to quickly and easily pick the orange trees. It works by stretching an umbrella around the tree itself and shaking it by vibration so that hundreds of oranges fall at once. I found information that the fallen fruit is then given away free to schools and kindergartens. This is how it's done. Now I want you to be completely honest with me. How many times have you told yourself, there is no way? Let me know down in the comments because I bet there are quite a few. If you liked the video, thumbs up. If you didn't, go with down. But if you want to help, you can share it with friends on social media. And ask them how many times they have said no way. Don't forget to subscribe to FactFrenzy for more mind-bending content like this. If you happen to have more free time in which you want to learn some interesting and cool stuff, click on either of these 2 videos here. Thank you for being with me once again. Bye and see you again.